All right, let's get a check on what's playing out in the crypto market now. We're seeing some red on the screen at this point with Bitcoin holding up at $87,211, now 0.3% from that big jump we saw coming into Monday, but we're seeing profit taking. That seems to be happening at this point. Ethereum, that's $2,062, 1.07% down. So we're seeing downward movement in the Tuesday trade there in the crypto market. I wonder what's driving that. But we'll definitely, it's been quite an interesting first quarter for the crypto market. We'll find out what to expect going forward. Gilbert Jokpata, team lead, Investors Law, joins me now. Hello, Gilbert. Great to have you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Mr. Ladi. Great to be here.
So as the first quarter of 2025 is wrapping up, how have macroeconomic factors like the tariffs and potential rate cuts, how's that influenced the crypto market, in your opinion, especially the post-Bitcoin halving?
Okay, so the Bitcoin halving cycle is still in play. You know, historically, Bitcoin used to follow a 4-year cycle driven by its halving event. So the last halving event we had was in April 2000, which is April last year, which means that we are still in the post-halving bull phase rather than the beginning of a prolonged bear market. But then I still know that this is more like a short-term bear market. I think it's right to call it, as well as I may call it a short-term down sell-off. But then there is something I want us to see in perspective. It's more like Trump versus Powell. This is more like a high-stakes standoff because, you know, after Donald Trump secured the election, he was eager to accelerate economic growth, and he believed that lowering interest rates will be key to achieving this. And then he publicly called the Federal Reserve and said, look, it's time we cut rates. However, Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve chair, still maintained interest rates, citing concerns of economic instability. So this is it. Donald Trump is a capitalist. He's a capitalist. Since he was frustrated, he decided it's time to go for trade war. And we know that trade war is inflationary. And so he started targeting Canada, Mexico, China, and then imposed this tariff on them. So I remember there was an interview he had about some weeks ago, and he was asked, is there a chance that we will be pushed into a recession? And he was like, I'm not taking off the chances of a recession. This is a president saying this, and we understand Donald Trump is a capitalist. So I think this is more like a face-off. And this is a game happening, a mental game happening between Donald Trump and Jerome Powell. And I think this is going to be a game of who is going to blink first. Is it going to be Donald Trump who will say, look, I think that this trade war is becoming more inflationary and I have to stop this? Or will it be Jerome Powell who will be like, oh, I just think it's high time we start cutting rates so that, you know, we'll have calms in the market.
Right. And I definitely wonder what role Bitcoin plays, you know, in a trade war at this point, or just, you know, acting as a regular asset at this point. But with the rise of new altcoin, you know, narratives, are we seeing a shift in market dynamics? You know, what key trends are you expecting coming up in this in the second quarter?
Okay, so Bitcoin is more like the reserve currency and long-term store of value in the market. And actually, you can't really go wrong with Bitcoin, you know, if you buy for the long term. But then there have been some major shifts, you know, in the market, which we've never seen before. I think one was the AI-powered blockchain project and also the real-world asset tokenization. We also had BlackRock and major institutional investors moving also into this kind of infrastructure. You know, unlike the past cycle we had, where meme coin just entirely dominated the market. Yeah, we had a very fair share of the meme coin, you know, this phase. But then I think AI-powered AI agents and also reward asset tokenization had a very fair share. And then I think that once this, you know, sell-off is entirely over, because I still think that we will have some rate cuts this year. After when all this is said and done, I think that more institutional inflow is going to push towards AI-powered blockchain, real-world asset tokenization. And yes, I still think that some MEM will do well, but I think that some investors will be a little bit snake bite careful about MEM. But then there are some persons who are degen who I know will always stay in that game. But then I think that liquidity or value this time around is going to stay with assets that really have more like value, economic value in the marketplace.
All right, it's been definitely a very dramatic first quarter of 2025. We'll see if the drama continues, going into the second quarter. Thank you so much, Gilbert Jokpata, team lead, Investor Launch. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.